To begin the first session post-lunch, let's welcome on stage an international, inspirational orator and a startup enthusiast. He is the CEO New Initiative at Z Entertainment for India and the APAC division. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the man with great hair and a great smile, none other than Mr. Piyush Sharma.
Thank you. That was a very nice introduction. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to be beginning the second half of the session. She's done half my job. I'm going to be keeping it very short and brief. I was thinking about what to speak, and I realized that the majority of crowd here is actually very young and talented. Experience is a comb which nature gives to man once he goes bald. So I'm still awaiting going bald, but in the meantime, I'm going to be sharing my little 2 cents here and hope that it makes a difference. I'm not going to be making any conclusions here, going to be leaving it much to the inferences that the young and talented crowd finally decides to do. I have divided the whole thing into 5 broad thought zones. Can I request all of you to just raise your hands with the mobile phones that you have? I'm sure all of you are carrying one. Yep. Now, in this sea of phones that we see here, and were I to take you back to the year 2007, I'm sure that 80% of it would have been dominated by a Nokia and a BlackBerry, 2 brands which almost cease to exist today. And it is around the same time, 10 years ago, that Apple shipped its first phone, and around the same time that Google introduced the Android operating system. Flash forward to today, and you have a situation where Apple is the most profitable company in the country, and Samsung controls nearly 70% of the total market share. So what you're witnessing is Schumpeter's creative disruption and disruptive innovation at work. Destruction, I'm sorry. So welcome to the age when big pace of change is going to lead to innovation that is absolutely relentless. Geography, I think, is no longer destiny, and connectivity, basically, in terms of flow of people, goods, capital, and ideas, really is the story of the 21st century. This is about formal education. So one of the fundamental disciplines of formal education is, of course, mathematics, the science of logic. So does average, which is such a fundamental concept in mathematics, does it really represent the right scenario? So we all know that we humans are blessed with, each one of us is blessed with 2 legs. But in any sample of population in any random part of the world, almost all, majority of the people have more legs than average, because unfortunately some of us do have fewer than 2 legs. Now, the image on the right, the one with red masking, is the image that is typically acknowledged to be more pornographic than the image on the left. If you look at it intuitively, she's wearing no clothes. But if you look at it counterintuitively, less skin is exposed in the image on the left than on the right. Counterintuitively is logically. Successful leaders around the world are seen to have these 3 factor traits in common. Millions of digital crumbs that all of us are leaving behind in terms of internet usage that we are doing and the devices that we are using, whether it is your smartphones or internet or mobile phones, which is leading to an overabundance of so much of human activity, which is absolutely astounding. Now, this is my favorite topic and wish to, and that's why it is in the end. It is about a short and powerful idea. Ernest Hemingway, once he was asked if he could possibly write a novel in no more than 6 words, and this is what he came with. I am sure most of you would be able to relate to the life of one of the famous US presidents here in this one. And this is what Kennedy had to say. So this is a short and powerful memo to oneself, really, and you could possibly adapt it to use it for whatever that you wish to do at a point in time. Maybe it is for the challenges that your team is facing. Maybe it is for self-analysis. Maybe it is for, it's not as if it will give you a sudden moment of clarity at a point in time, but it is something which could possibly lead to an interaction into how one relates to one's work, as also with the co-workers that one works with. Before I go, but this is, of course, not a summary of the broad thought zones, 5 thought zones that I talked about, but this is about us humans being animals who are really smart, but do decide to act dumb at times. I call them horse manure moments that we off and on keep coming back with. Back in the 1890s, the Times of London reported that in a couple of years of time, most of the cities in England would actually be up to 9 feet deep buried in horse manure, because horse was supposed to be the mode of transportation at that point in time. And a New York prognosticator also projected that in a couple of years' time, maybe the third floor up till the third story of the Manhattan buildings, they would have in horse manure. But what finally happened was that the car came in, and the rest is history. So I am fundamentally a great believer and a techno-optimist, and believe that technology is the way for a positive change. And we'll leave you guys with this Chanakya Niti opening verses, which is basically about, in the context of what we are here, about wealth creation and redistribution of wealth. So here is to a great Goafest, remaining great Goafest, and I hope it touches our lives in some manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nayak, may I please invite you to kindly present a token of appreciation to Mr. Piyush Sharma. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our first insightful talk at our second knowledge seminar presented by Living Foods. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for sharing your thoughts.